Hi everybody, Roy here. I just thought to let's go through some gardening thoughts, And we'll call it the cultural gardening thoughts, because it's a term we're picking up, being cultural gardeners. So this was a garden we put in probably 2003, and for about 11 years, 12 years we took care of it, and then the owner thought they could have everything under one. It looked good, and they could have everything under one person, so they had someone come in mowing and did the weeding. So for 5 years or 6 years now, he's been weeding, but the thing he didn't weed out was this plant, and you see it down here. It's called palm sedge, or Carex muskingumensis. We did put it in over where Heidi's working, and we put some in this front area, and it did seed, but we just kept hoeing it out. See, when it's that big, seedlings come up, and we would just hoe the seedlings out when they're about that big, and we just kept after it as part of our garden care. Just when something comes up in an open place between your plants in May, it could be chickweed, could be henbit, you hoe it out. And when that came up, we just hoed it out. So that was really an issue for us. But the mowing person is very conscientious, just didn't know what to do, or didn't really identify that as a weed. So in about 6 years, it took over all 3 gardens around the house, just dominated the plantings and shaded out the plantings. So we got called back in, and we dug all of it out, and now we're replanting. And I just wanted to point out, I think, the value of a cultural gardener, a knowledgeable gardener. When we were here, this palm sedge wasn't really an issue, and actually looks pretty nice along the edge, has a nice look. And if I knew that the mowing guy was going to take care of it, I wouldn't have put it in, because you have to work up to the capability of the people that are going to care for it. And like I said, 11, 12 years we did the gardening here, and it wasn't really an issue. We knew it was seeding, but again, we just hoed it out. So let's walk over and we'll take a look at some of the plantings that Heidi's putting in to replace the palm sedge. We had significant holes, but really I'm only bringing probably 35, 40 perennials to fill in. So let's take a look at what Heidi's doing. Well, here we are at one of the first gardens we redid. Here I'm with Heidi. You remember from Alta Vista. So Heidi's here kind of helping me replant. She's going to be here also as the gardener. So she'll be kind of monitoring, basically keep after the Carex muskingumensis. That's the key, is keep after that. Then keep the integrity of the planting and making additions or changes. Kind of what gardeners do. So when did we plant this? 3 weeks ago?
Maybe a little bit longer,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of maintenance to start with. The Carex had taken over all the beds in the property, and there's still some more that are showing. And I think you said 18 years ago maybe it started.
Yeah,
and
we planted Carex muskingumensis about 21 years ago. 20? It was up by the driveway in two spots. And we actually kept them out, as I mentioned before, for 11 or 12 years. And then it only took 6, 7 years, maybe 8 years for them to dominate the planting.
yeah, none of these perennials were available to see. We put quite a few in because what we took out just was a solid mass of the Carex, and it just looked sloppy.
Yeah.
It was overgrown. All you saw was the wispiness of the Carex with no perennial interest. Maybe a few hydrangeas here and there, but it came out and it gave us a fresh palette to add new
Opportunity.
things.
So once the Carex came out, we got an opportunity to redefine the planting and brought in Stilby Delft lace. We have 2 drifts of Stilby Delft lace. It's a nice Stilby with some copper foliage, copper green. I think it fit in pretty good here.
It does. Yeah, the turtle head looks.
We had some clone in there. We had the turtle heads. Coreopsis made it through the chaos.
Yeah, that's a good.
And in the back I put Sanguisorba canadensis, 2 of those or so. What else we got? Calamaris. And some Phlox fashionably early lavender ice, which is a nice introduction. It has a little lavender early, and then the lavender bleeds into the white flower as the flowers mature.
All right, here we are again on this side of the entryway to the home. The Carex was up to almost the top of the hydrangeas that are, perimeter shrubbery here at the home, and you couldn't see anything. There was not even a garden bed here. So Carex came out, didn't really start over. There were beautiful daylilies underneath.
Happy returns. Worked
Few
out
of
pretty
the
good.
asters. Yeah.
And you can see why people love daylilies. They live in chaos. So when you have a landscape, that in all our years became our default landscape plant was a daylily. Because it'll live everywhere you put it. You can leave it on the ground through the winter,
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Yeah.
What did we add into here? Oh, turtle heads. You know, we got
Turtle
cloning again.
heads. Yep. And there's a few still be in there. And then up here, the dove lace, just to kind of mimic the other side.
Well, then we
And
had the misty lace aruncus too. We put some misty lace aruncus in there.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it'll come up again, and here's what the start of the Carex looks like. So it's kind of, you know, unassuming little.
Very innocent
Carex.
plant, isn't it?
So it's tiny at first, so it's easy to maintain when it is this size.
Yeah.
And again, it just looks like a, you know, consider it a weed at this point, but if you wanted it to go, it would take over the whole bed again.
And in a large space, it's not a bad plant. We can show you some areas back in the shaded garden back there. It's a good plant to consume space. Yeah, it looks good.
This was here, this
Masusha.
Asusha, kind of a cool interest. You don't see something like
Susha
that too
pratensis.
often.
And I'll tell you a little bit about the Susha. I did this at a garden probably in 2002. I started growing it in the year 2000, 2001. And when I put it in the garden in Burlington, the woman called me 5 years later. She said, Roy, can you come take a look? There's something not right. So I drove out to Burlington to look at it. It was all Susha pratensis. It's seeded. So here I did another. But see, we weren't taking care of it, but I didn't know it's seeded everywhere. And that started creating an awareness. I was a grower, but I wasn't really sure what plants did after they left the property going with other people in gardens. And that really installed in, boy, you better keep knowing what these plants do and how they live from child to adult. So now when I put Susha in, I don't put it in until the garden's 4 to 5 years old, because when it seeds, it doesn't have the opportunity to take over everything. And then you still have the ability to hoe it out.
Right.
When you recognize those seedlings, you can take. But it's a beautiful
It's
plant.
such a statement. So small amounts of it are really striking, you know, with the geranium as well. Just
Yeah.
the bounce back and forth, the color is pretty.
So we carved a little bit more out. We had some Nepeta in here, subsessilis, that was too floppy. So since we had the opportunity, I think, to do some renovating, we took the Nepeta out and we put in a little bit more vertical, some Calamaris and some Coreopsis Electric Avenue. And in the back we have Phloxgena. And to support that, I put in Calamagrostis Carl Forster. And what else? We had some other things down back here.
Yeah, there was that aster
Oh, okay, yeah, you asked her,
behind
little
the
Carlo.
Cleome.
We added Aster Little Carlo in the back. It's a slightly shorter cordifolius, and it has tiny blue flowers. And the Veronica too. I think
Right.
Lightsaber.
Right. That's nice and upright too. But it'll mass.
Yeah, it'll have a nice vertical look.
Right.
And then Heidi moved the Astilbe purpurcurs back there, and
Right.
that way it can support the Amsonia as the Amsonia is falling forward.
Right. With the kind of overstory of these giant pines, there is a fair amount of shade for some of the day. Right now it's evening, so that's why we're having this nice western sun blast in here. But the plants tend to get a little more leggy in the shade, and this was pretty floppy too. And we trimmed a lot of that
That's the
back.
Nepeta subsessilis
Yeah.
that we took out over here.
It was giant.
Heidi's showing, see how it leans?
Yeah. It
But
does-
here it's going to lean into the Astilbe. As the Astilbe get taller, purpurcurs is about 4 feet high.
That's nice and upright.
So it'll lean into the vertical flowers, and that's when you'll have your Monet moment in the garden. And so when you're gardening here, you'll have your pause. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's
It's
nice.
not so floppy. It'll stand up when that starts
Right.
coming up with its
And she
blooms
might do
next
some
year.
pruning to make sure it doesn't lean too much on top of the Astilbe too.
Right.
So it's really an emotional, gardening is an emotional part of it too, the care for the plants and they're intermingling together.
Yeah. Yeah. This just looks 100% better and different, and just like you said, renovation. That's a good word for it.
Yeah, we did an
redo.
update.
And these two were very large, and
It's the Scottish lovage. Levisticum here has nice foliage and nice umbellifera flowers, white to green to dark brown. And they do seed, but not as heavily as other umbelliferas do. So it's a modest reseeder.
I'm gonna look great with the stackies around it as well.
Yeah, we extended that. We extended the cornflowers too.
Yep.
And that's that Pete out off thing that Pete always kept telling me, Roy, when we first met, stretch your patterns out. You're too choppy. So I always remember that when I'm doing things, to stretch the pattern out.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks good.
It does.
Even that rock, on the rock, I look at that and I go, huh. We'll leave that on there. Who knows how that's going to enhance the patterns in the garden. We got one more to look at that we're working on right now. Well, Heidi, here's our last garden, at least for now. We'll finish this one off. It's more shade. We have more shade. We have competition from the maple roots too. So we're trying to put in plants that will compete with the maple roots. So as the maples get the surface water, they have more of a shallow root system. There's less oxygen below. So I'm putting in Aster Twilight. And Aster Twilight rhizomously can go and mingle through the roots of the maple tree. So there's more community effect with the plants. And actually putting some Panicum Northwind, that can take the shade. It'll be upright but gently looser. So it should do pretty good there. And it's a sign of a dry area. The sprinklers don't reach as easily. So once they get established, the Panicum should do pretty good.
It's a nice contrast with the boxwood that are back there. That's so solid, dark green, very strong, and then these will be light and airy, even with the top.
And thanks for adding that, because I didn't think about that at all. But
Well,
that's true.
The color, the texture is always a nice
It'll
thing
look
to
good.
see. The
And what-
Amsonia too.
And then we have the Epimedium. We've done well in the drier soil. It does get irrigated, but does dry out quickly here. And then, what do you have? I brought a Solidago. It's Solidago bicolor. It's a clumping Solidago. It does reseed. It's native to the East Coast, but it has white flowers. Gets about 3 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet, maybe a little taller. And it has spiked vertical flowers with a little bit of yellow in them. And we're putting that kind of in between the boxwood and the Panicum. So we're going to try it out. It reseeds, but it's not one of the more aggressive reseeding. It's not like Solidago speciosa or Solidago rigida that we have here. That's clumping, but they'll reseed at a much heavier rate from youth. When they reseed even the first year from seed. Yeah. Which is
crazy.
Yeah. So you got to be aware of that.
This will be a little bit more controlled.
Yeah,
Thank you.
This will have more forgiving nature, I think, than that.
But fall color, which is nice.
Yeah. And we're actually putting Carex back in here. We'll be using Carex humilis. And humilis is a well-behaved. It respects its space, basically. It's not going to reseed. Yeah, it's clumping, short, moundy, respects its space, transitions sun to shade, and takes slightly moist to dry. So I think it'll do well along the edge. There's a filler along the edge. I don't know, what do you think?
I think it's going to look great. And it's hard not to keep going, and owner came out and said, what's next, and there's a whole roadway up ahead of us, but you turn something from the front entryway to what it looks like now from where it's been, you can't help but saying, okay, let's go on to the next, because she will reclaim her garden and entryway to her home will look beautiful.
Yeah, I think we made some good changes. And again, it's been 21 years.
Yeah.
You know, some gardens last maybe 8 years before they're taken out and redone totally. So we're basically enhancing some things that through lack of awareness and my mistake of putting it in, knowing 12 years later we wouldn't be here. Maybe that could have been what I should have thought about too.
Who knows?
Well, I'm a finite guy. Someday I'll just drop and become millions of parts of other millions of living things. And that's okay. Who knows, I'll meet my mom somewhere. Something in the soil. Who knows? I don't know. Thanks everybody. Thanks Heidi.
Thank you.